Hello there fellow nobodies, my name is Knump and this is the show you've never heard of. This week we're going to be touching on a few things. First of all, we're going to be looking at some really interesting technology that's making a breakthrough and it's actually going to segue into some other cool technology further down the road. We're going to be looking at a few upcoming titles coming out on the new consoles. Then we take a look at the whole Facebook Oculus Rift. Just when you thought you wanted your own pair of night vision goggles, they've come out with something even cooler. Thanks to a little thing called graphene, which is a single sheet of carbon atoms lined together in a highly conductive pattern, you now get something called the infrared activated night vision contact lens. This is a real thing. You put it on your eye, it can actually pick up with sensors that are somehow electrically connected, and it'll switch to an infrared lens and make you see in night vision. This is incredibly awesome and cool. There seems to be some really strange things coming out with contact lenses recently. First, Google comes out with one that'll actually read the glucose levels in your eye's tear fluid, and it'll tell you if your blood sugar's low for diabetics, and now we have night vision lenses. This is getting seriously cool. I'm waiting for the heads-up display, guys. Come on, get it. So moving on to a couple new announcements about upcoming games. We've got one that we kind of already knew about, Dragon Age Inquisition. This will be the third installment of the series, and we're not sure what direction they're going to be taking it in. Anyone who's played the Dragon Age series know that there was a large transition between the combat system between Origins and Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 was a heavy hack and slasher with RPG elements, while Dragon Age 1 was a lot more in detail and had a pseudo turn-based strategy feel to it. So we're going to have to kind of take a step back and see what's going on here. But the big thing that people are actually reporting about is there's 40 different endings to this game. Now this has kind of been clarified a little bit. It's not 40 unique ending cutscenes. There's 40 massive different shifts that can happen to the set endings in here. Basically, you're probably going to have a lot of characters, but different ones can die in different ways, so it's not huge. There's supposed to be minimal outcomes that also tweak the endings, and there's supposed to be over 100 of those, which is cool, but for the 40 massive, unless it's not including things like character A missing from the actual ending cutscene, there's not going to be a huge amount of impact to it. It's probably still going to have 4 or 5 different cutscenes, but it's certainly not a bad amount of replayability to have to a game, so kudos on that. The other upcoming release I wanted to kind of touch about is Deus Ex is getting another sequel. For those of you who are fans of the Deus Ex series and actually liked Human Revolution, which is very, very hit or miss with a lot of gamers, especially with the older titles, you will no doubtly have heard about Mankind Divided. This is a lot more in the style of Human Revolution, and it's the pseudo-sleuthy, you can go in stealth, you can go in, I'll kill everyone sort of thing. It's not quite as tactical as the earlier PC editions, but it's definitely something that's in early development. We can't say too much about it, but they have done all the copyrights and licensings and trademarkings of all names and things, so we do know it will exist. So for those of you who don't know what an Oculus Rift is, it's essentially a headset device that allows for virtual reality movements in games. It has gyroscopes built into the actual headset, so when you turn your head, it tends to register in the same direction in certain games. This is something that was totally amazing, and I thought this would be a great start, and it had so much potential in games, and this is a cool new piece of technology. And the way this thing came about was by a thing called Kickstarter. Kickstarter is something where you go to the crowd of people and say, hey, if you throw me money, I will make this for you, but I basically can't do it unless I have money. So if there are any volunteers, here I am. It was able to raise enough money to actually meet its Kickstarter needs, and it went into development. The Oculus Rift came out, and now shortly after, this is where a lot of the anger is coming from, it was bought by Facebook. Now, the anger for me is actually split down the middle here because I don't know too much about the deal, and the more I read about it, it actually seems rather shady. The company who developed the Oculus Rift has actually sold everything out, and that's caused a huge backlash for the people who signed up to the Kickstarter. They felt like they were investing something into gaming and something into the new technology of the future and all kinds of awesomeness, only to have it turned around and bought up by some quick social media thing. I hate you, Facebook. On the one hand, you have the people from Kickstarter who are angry for the company turning around and selling it for what feels like a quick buck. But let's dive a little more into detail there. Facebook actually approached them and said, hey now guys, we're gonna, make sure it's compatible if it's with us, if you know what we mean. And then when Facebook turned around and said, don't worry, we'll give you a lot of money for it, how's 2 billion sound? Well, that sounds really, really good until you look at the fine details. Only 400 million of that was actually paid in cash. The rest of the 1.6 billion was only done in Facebook common stock. So, considering the amount of backlash, that's actually going to drop the amount of value that they've got for this deal. Interesting and kind of strange how you would sell off that much of your company for something that's not generally associated with social media. It seems to be a different kind of thing going on here. Now for the anger of Facebook. Anyone who's seen the Simpsons episode and is doing, oh my god, Simpsons called it, because of that one skit with virtual reality Farmville, yes, we are all laughing. Facebook turned around and bought the Oculus Rift and already has a marketing team working on rebranding and redeveloping it. For some reason, Zuckerberg has actually gone on record saying this is something I can see as a social media interaction tool. I don't want to put on a headset to find a friend invitation. How is this in any way social media Facebook-ness? I don't want that. It makes no sense to me. Am I the only one completely confused by this? If you can give me any sort of feasible reason why this would work with social media, Facebook, Twitter, anything of the like, tell me, explain it, leave me a comment, send me an email, give me an angry hate mail, voice message, handwritten letter thing. I dare you, because there is absolutely no practical use I can find for them paying this much money for it. It just seems absurd. So that's the big question here, gentlemen and ladies, and so that's the big question here. I kind of have to stop stumbling over the tangent and actually get down to. Do you think that they were bought out? Was this a hostile grab? What do you think Facebook intends to actually do with the Oculus Rift? I'm not really sure, and it doesn't really seem to be worth that much money. Do you think it was a smart idea giving them that much stock? Does that mean they can actually turn around and have a portion of control with Facebook? What do you guys think? Leave me a comment section below. If you have any other news articles that you want me to check out, or is there anything else you think I need to know, leave me a comment or send me an email at numpsgamedump@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember the silent K in that. This is Nofi signing off. Thanks. And I did that in one fucking take! Ah! That's right!